Okay, so good morning, all. Welcome to this another session of practical of Linux operating system, and we'll be first of all going with the attendance, and then we'll have few executions. Okay, give me a second. So this is okay. So let's attend the roll call, please. Amandeep.
Present, sir.
Okay, uh, Amandeep is present. Next one is Amanpreet Kaur. Amanpreet Kaur absent. Next one is Amrit Kaur.
Present, sir.
Arjun.
Present, sir.
Aspinder Singh.
Present, sir.
Okay. Gagandeep Kaur.
Present, sir.
Okay. Gaganpreet. Gaganpreet. Not present. Gaganpreet Kaur.
Present, sir.
Okay. Harmanveer Singh.
Present, sir.
Harmandeep.
Present, sir.
Then Jashanpreet. Jashanpreet. Absent. Then next one is Jaskaran. Jaskaran is also absent. Next, Jasmeet Kaur. Jasmeet Kaur. Absent. Jaspreet Kaur. Jaspreet Kaur is also absent. Chujar.
Present, sir.
Okay. Kamalpreet Kaur.
Present, sir.
Okay. Kapil. Kapil is here. No. Karanpreet Singh.
Present, sir.
And then Komalpreet Kaur. Komalpreet. Absent. Maninder. Maninder is also absent. Mannat. Mannat absent. Then Muhammad Mahdi. Absent.
Present, sir.
Okay. Muhammad Mahdi is present. Okay. Then Navjot. Navjot. Absent. Nipun.
Present,
Nipun is,
sir.
Nipun is present. Okay. Nipun is present. Then Nishant. Do we have Nishant here? Nishant? No. Olu. Olua.
Present.
Okay. Then Pratap.
Present, sir.
Okay. Ramandeep.
Present, sir.
Okay. Rishi.
Present, sir.
Rishi. Okay. Rishi is present. Then Ritik
Yes, sir.
and Sukhmanpreet.
Present, sir.
Okay. Tanu.
Present, sir.
Tanveer.
Present, sir.
Okay. Samuel. Samuel.
Present, sir.
Okay.
Present, sir.
Okay. Jasmindeep Kaur
Present, sir.
and Parvarthi.
Present, sir.
Okay. So is there anyone who has missed the roll call? Is there anyone who has missed the roll call? No one? I'm assuming everyone present has got their attendance marked. So let me save the attendance now. Okay. Okay, so this is done. Let me share the screen once and then we'll start with our discussion. Give me a second. So is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay, perfect. So attendance is done, and let's go and see the content. So this is the file permissions that we were discussing in the class yesterday. And basically we have two major things to execute. And the first will be, we'll try to look onto this particular things, how to get this. And once we have got this one, and we'll see what does this hyphen symbol mean and what does this D symbol mean. And further we'll have a combination of 3, 3 and 3. So total we have 9 characters present: D, R, W, X, minus sign or slash, you can call it in any way. So we'll see this particular thing, and then we'll try to add and modify. We'll try to modify some of the file permissions. Okay. So like read, write, and execute. So if someone has the read permission, I want to give it a write permission, or someone has a write permission, I want to give it a execute permission. Okay. So that's something we want to do it, and we'll do it try using this file permissions. Okay. And of course we'll try to also see if plus, what does plus mean? To increase the permission, and minus means to reduce the permission. Minus means to remove the permissions. If someone already had a execute permission and I don't want someone to have the permission to execute anything, so I want to revoke that, I can, using the subtraction sign, I can remove that for read, write, and execute. Okay. So that's basic. And yes, this concept, I have explained it in the class, and today again I'll try to come to this point a bit so that you can revise what these things are all about. Okay. So that's it. Then we have the multiple choice questions. So we have 2 or 3 things to practice in our today's class. So we'll move back, and then we'll let me move to the Linux console. So this is my Linux window. Okay, let me log in again. So this is okay. So we are again back to our Linux console. I hope you can see the screen. So first of all, we'll do ls and see what the in this particular directory, what are the files and the folders that are present, directories are present and files are present. Once we'll do this, and you'll see desktop, document, download, Linux commands, music, picture, public, snap, templates, and videos. So these are the things that are present. And the same thing can be confirmed once you move to the files. And if you move to the files, you'll see same are things are present in here: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and total of 10 items are present. And you can count, we'll have total of 10 items present in here. So it will list down all the items that are present in any given directory ls. Okay. Now, since most of the thing that we were working was present in one folder, that is Linux command, so we were working in this folder, so we'll try to get into the same folder today. So I'll write cd and type Linux and underscore. Okay, so I'll type this, and now I am within the folder of Linux commands. Let's try to do ls again and see what are the contents present in the lx folder. Oh, sorry, Linux command folder. You'll see the combined file.txt. We might have created file1.txt, file2, file3, memo.txt. Now this memo file is, let me see this memo file. So this memo file present in the Linux command, this is the file that we have copied. Where is memo? So it was not the one that we have created. This is the one that I have copied from the another directory. Okay, so this, sorry, moved from the another directory, not copied. This is a file that we have moved from the another directory. Now this is not present in the previous directory. Okay, so this is something we have done, and there is one thing missing in here. We only had the files present. We don't have any directory present here. Okay, so let's try to create one directory here. I'll write mkdir, that stands for make directory, and I'll write it demo directory. Okay. Now once I have written this mkdir demo directory, and again if you'll do ls, you will find we have files present, and there is a demo directory present. Now directory, how we can distinguish? It is already in the blue color. blue or green color. I was referring to this in the last class. So the color combinations are also important. So they distinguish the files from the directories. So we have a couple of files present, existing files, and we have the demo directory. Now we can go to the demo directory. We'll go to cd. We'll do the, sorry, we'll cd, we'll do the demo, cd demo directory. We are in demo directory. Let's try to write touch. Then let's try to give the file name new file dot txt. So we have got new file dot txt. Now if I'll do ls in here, so you have new file dot txt. So now this is working fine. And let me show you in this way what we have done. So we have got to the Linux commands. Now here you will see we have already created demo directory, and within this demo directory I have created a new file. Okay, so that thing is done. So let me clear this. So I'm going to clear the screen, and okay, let's not clear the screen in case you want to refer this later. Now once this thing is done, I'll come out of this demo directory. I'll see, and right now I have came out, and let's go to again cd. I'll go to cd Linux command. Okay. So once you'll go to cd Linux commands, and now this time ls hyphen l I'm going to do. So it is going to display all the list of items, the folders, the directory, the files it is going to display. And you'll see this is something. Let me collectively move back to the file. You will see if you'll do ls hyphen l, it is present. I hope you can see that. Let me zoom it a little bit more. Now you can see if I do ls hyphen l, as it is going to show the directory of file that contains a list of files and the other directory. This level permission is undesirable. Okay, privilege, modern installation several, and root is a modern installation specific religion. Okay, so file permissions could be partial output. Ls shows in this particular figure and it is going to show you all set of details. Now we were segregating, we were trying to understand all of them one by one. Now the purpose of doing this is that you can have the combination of both the files, and you can have a combination of directories. Now, uh, rest of the things, it is pretty easy. That is, this is understandable. We have seen there's a date, name, file name, the size of the file. Okay, there's the username, there's the group name. Okay, there's uh, a couple of other details are present in here. Okay. Now, what the only thing to understand in here is the first, the things that you'll see. So you might wonder what is this combination of subtraction R, W, D, X, what is this is being written. So we'll start by reading. Now, first thing that you need to, let me open the any notepad or something I need to type. Okay. So the first thing that you need to understand is that we'll have two type. First character will be of, let me zoom this. Okay, so you'll have two, either you'll have this being written or you'll have D written as a first character. If this is written, so this refers to file. And when you'll see reference, this refers to directory. Okay, so the first thing that you'll see here is this is the uh, this symbol, minus symbol, minus symbol, minus symbol. You will see every time there is a minus symbol is there. What does that mean? That means all these are the files, and here you will see only D symbol written. That denotes that this particular is a not a file in itself. This is a directory. Okay, so this is being done. Now every time you'll see, you'll find a combination, you'll find a combination of three. So that are called as the file permissions. File permissions. And file permissions categorized into three categories. The first one is uh, the the root user or the user. I'll type it as a user. Okay. Second one is called as the group. Okay. And the third one is the others. Okay, so these are the one. And the privileges user, the root user or the simple user or the global user has the maximum number of permissions. Group might have few permissions which are lesser than the user, but it might be more than the others. And the others is a category which will have the least permissions given to the files and the folders. Okay, so it works in that way. So user will have almost all the permissions. Group might have a permissions lesser than user but might have more than others, and on the last category you'll have the permissions which are least or the minimum possible permissions that are provided, and all the guest users fall under the category of others, where we are trying to provide the limited number of features or limited number of permissions. Okay, now every time you see, I'll take this an example, you will see minus. If it is a file, you would see rwx, then you'll see minus, then r, uh, then hyphen, then you'll see rw w, then you'll see minus, then you'll see r, then minus minus. You might get these kind of things quite a while when you are understanding the what we call as the permissions. Now I'll try to break this and give you the indication that how does this thing works. So it always comes in the group of three. Group of three. Now, many of you might wonder that if I need to give the permission, I can give read, write, and execute permission. Then why I need to have a group of three? For every user need to have, I am going to cancel read, write, execute. So let me separate this out. Uh, one, two, three, and let me separate this out. Yes. Now I'll separate this out. So this is the one set of permission with three letters RWX, and this is the second set of operations. Let's suppose I'll read this for better understanding this way. Okay. And there are three set of permissions that are required to be given for every category of users that we are working with. So, and this hyphen, I have broken this down. This hyphen will denote, the first part will denote if it is a directory, or you can have, instead of this, you can have D as well. Okay, so the first, it can be this one or it can be this one. It has to do nothing with the rest of the things. So I'm going to keep it as this is going to be the file for which we are having a discussion. So the first three one, these permission I'm going to cut this and going to paste it here. The first three set of characters that you'll see are always being denoted for whatever permission you want to set it for the user. And the rest three, one, two, three are one permissions. I'm going to cut this and place it in front of the group. The rest of the three were the permissions that you want to set up for the group are the not you said want to set up the permission that are already present for a group. Okay, and the third one is that again set of three, and I'm again going to cut this and paste it in front of others, the permissions that you want to set it for the group of all other users. Okay, now, and this, of course, this denotes what I have told you, if either file or directory. Let me delete this as well. Okay. Now you understand this. We have a three different categories of the users, and for that I need to set up the file permissions. Okay. Now, if it is the user, the main user, it can have the read permissions, or it can have the write permissions as well. It can have the execute permission as well. So if it is the main user, it can have all three set of permission for read as well, for write as well, for execute as well. Okay. So, but in as of this case, we don't have anything, the executable file or any setup file that we could execute. we don't have anything here. But otherwise, you need to imagine if they're in within the system, you have anything that can be executed, that permission is only this particular user is having that permission. Okay. Then then following the groups. Now groups will have the few permissions and few may not be there. So this particular group may be able to read and write, but this group is not having the permission to execute. Okay. Similarly, for the others, you will have only read permission. Neither someone can write it or neither someone can execute it. Okay. Now to take an example of this and understand, take it an example of the website. Okay. Now they can take an example of the website. Let's suppose I have created one website, and if I'm the user, I can read that website. I can modify the content in that website. I might be able to attach few plugins and I might be able to execute anything within that website. So let's suppose that. And there might be few privileged user, those who have signed up for my website, they have paid the content and they want to view that. So they might be able to read the content, they might be able to write it, but they might not be able to execute it because that is the right I want to keep preserve for myself. And for all other third category of users, that are the users that are accessing the website for free, they are only capable, they are only having a permission to read whatever content is displayed on the website. Okay, just a simple example so that you're able to understand the concepts in a better way. So these can be a three different sets of read, write, and execute file permissions that you might have. Now coming back to over this point here, let's try to understand each one of it. Now in this, you'll see hyphen, ignore the first one, hyphen every time. Now you'll see we have RW, then minus sign is there. Okay, so this particular file for combined file dot text, we have a read permission as well. We have the write permission, but we don't have the executing permission because we have nothing to execute in here. So it is minus. Then for the group permissions, we have read, write, again there is a minus. That means group is having the same permission as that of the user. You can have the same permissions as well. Okay, you can have read, write, execute, you can have read, write, execute, you can have read, write, execute. You can provide all three permissions to all of them. So if there is any file that you want to be available all across the users, you can use a read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, write, execute for all three of them. You can do that as well. Okay. So, but as of now, we see a read, write, and no execution permission is for the main user. Then we have read, write, no execute permission for the another user, and for rest of the users that are not the user that belongs to your organization, maybe, or the guest user or any other third party user, you have only read permission. Okay. Similarly, you can move and read for the next one. You have read, write, execute permission for the main user. Then again, read, write, execute for the other users, and at last you will have read and execute permissions for this demo directory that we have created, and the other users can read and execute that. And similarly, you'll find read, write, execute, read, write permissions, and these are similar because we have created 1, 2, 3 memo, new copy, or a similar type of files with a similar type of permissions that are being present here. Okay, so there's nothing difficult in this that we have studied as of now. And if you have any doubt, whatever we have, and this is something that we have already discussed in the class, so we have not started, we have not discussed anything new in this. So if you have still any doubt in this, you can ask me the questions. Okay. Okay. Anyone, any doubt, any questions?
No, sir.
Okay,
No, sir.
done.
Oh,
So let's move and discuss the next thing. And now I'll see the permissions. I'll modify this. Now let's suppose I want to modify, and for that purpose, let's go back to the file, and you'll see there are three type of file permission that can relate to the file or directory. Okay. Now we have read, we have write, we have execute that we have discussed. Read directory, write directory, execute file. Okay. So directory owner can be there. There can be group. There can be size. Okay. Links. create a file. Okay. Now next thing is changing permissions. The next thing that we need to discuss is changing permission, and that can be done with the help of chmod command. Okay. And chmod command, let me write it here. So we can use chmod, we can use chmod command, and then you can have anything like 7 4 2. Okay, like 742. uh, File name, let me take a file name from here. Let's suppose for memo.txt. Let's suppose this is something, a command that I want to execute. Okay, we'll do it, but let's try to understand what this command is going to do. So as the name indicates, this command is going to change mode command. So this command is, name is change mode command, and it also has a addition subtraction as a part of it. Okay, now change mode command means it is going to change the permission for memo.txt. So for memo.txt, whatever permissions you have, you want to change that. So you don't want to have read, write, and execute permission for all the users. You just need to provide the read permission to groups and to other users. Now, user might be able to read and execute, but rest of the users, I need to provide a read only permissions. Okay, or read only permissions here. So you can change these permissions, and this is something we can do help of uh, with the help of the change mode permission. Now, before that, you need to understand what the numbers these represent. Okay, now since I have I have shown you the table before, if it is related to, if the 7 is given, so what does individual permission? So these numbers stands for the individual permissions. So this number, if I need to write 7, 4, 2 represents individual permission for each set of users. Okay, now how to read that in set of users means it could be for a user, or it could be for group, or it could be for other. Okay, let me do this word wrap. It could be for other. Okay, now in order to understand how to decode that number, so for that you need to understand the table that I have shown you in the previous one. So for that purpose, there are few things that you need to understand. So if a number 4 you see anytime, for 4 means execute. Okay, so 4 means read. And then you might come across the word 2, and 2 means write. And similarly, 1 means execute, and any combination, or if it is 0, if it is 0 will also be present sometimes, means no uh, permissions are granted. Okay, now every time you'll see any number that will be present, it will be the combination, sorry, it will be the combination of these numbers present. So if it is 742, and please add the numbers and generate the first number 7. So in order to get a number 7, what should be added? 4 plus 2, 6 plus 1, 7. So that means for the first user, that means for this particular user, if the number 7 represents, 7 means he having permission for read also, for write also, for execute also. So 7 will represent, so I'll write it here. So 7 will represent a read, write, and execute. Okay, so 7 will represent read, write, and execute, and this 7 will be used for the first user. One number is used for the first user, so I'll write it 7 for user. Yeah. Okay, 7 will represent for read, write, and execute. Similarly, let's pick the second number, that is the 4. Now if you'll see 4, what does that means? The 4 will be for the second category, that will be for group, the second category of users, and it will have only read permissions. Will have only read permissions. Why? For the second group will have only read permission. So if it is 4 is given, so 4 means it will have only read permission. That means this particular group will be only able to read whatever contents is there. And similarly, you can have the 2, or you can have, let's suppose, take it as a 1, and even that will make sense, 4 to 1. And then if you have 1 here and it is for the other groups, it is for the other category, and they will have only execute permission. Okay, so that's how anytime you'll see a number is written and then a file name is written, you need to understand what does 7 4 and 1 7 4 2 7 5 7 5 3 can be there. Okay, 753 can be there. Now what does that means? 7 means the main user can read, write, and execute, that remains same. If it is 5 is given, 5 means the next group of user can read as well and they can execute as well, but they cannot write it. Read and execute are the one permission for the second category of users. And if 3 is given, 3 means a user can write it and user can execute it, but they cannot read it. So likewise, you'll always have a combination of the characters where you'll see multiple permissions that are being given, and based on those permissions you can perform all the actions. Or and sometimes you'll also see permissions where you will have 7777 then memo dot txt might be written. Now, if it is all 777 txt is being written, so that means I want to have read, write, and execute all three permissions for the first category of user, for the second, for the third. I have this file available so that anyone can read, write, modify, execute, can perform all the operations on this file. So you might have 777 written as well. Okay, so these are the few things that are important in order to read this, because I might have discussed these table. And okay, so these are whatever number you see here, these are the octal values. We call it as an octal values. I have shown you this table in the last class. So these octal values are the one that will decide what type of permissions any given user is going to have. Okay, so this is going to represent what type of permission any user is going to have. Anyone, any doubt up to this point?
No, sir.
Okay, so the next thing that we want to do is we want to execute this commands. Give me a second. We want to execute this commands. Mm, Just give me a second. Okay, so I'm sorry for the interruption. So let's try to execute the commands, and we are trying to experiment now with what we call as this the chmod commands. Okay, so we'll try to execute first of all. Let's try to have again ls and okay, not ls hyphen l. We'll try to have these are uh, the 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 directories and the files that we have. Now let's suppose in memo.txt I don't have the command to execute anything. Okay, so even though this cannot be executed, but you'll observe in this memo.txt we don't have anything executable command. So what I can do is I can write mod, and I can, in order to add a permission, so we use the plus symbol. And if I need to add an executable uh, s- permission, so I'll write plus x stands for the execute. So I'll write chmod plus x and followed by the file name. I'll write memo dot txt. Okay, so I'll write memo.txt. So you'll find out in this here, you'll have a read write, then you don't have anything to execute. You have read write, you don't have anything to execute. Then you have read, then no write and no execute. So these are the file permissions that you have. Now let's suppose I want to give the permission that I want to execute anything in this memo.txt. So I'll be simply executing this command. And this time if I'll do uh, LSL, you'll find out the change that is present in here. You'll find in the memo.txt. Now the color has been changed to blue to green. Now this has become the executable, and you'll see a read, write, execute, read, write, execute, read, and execute. That means plus X is something that is being provided to the all the across all the user groups. Okay, so it is present for the main user, for the group users, and for other category of users. You have this permission present. Okay. Now, in the same way, you can also, since we have provided the permissions, you can revoke it as well. So I'll write mod instead of plus x. If you do minus x this time, now you'll be able to revoke the executable permission. So let's try to do ls uh, L again. Now you'll see again the permissions, the color has again changed, and whatever executable the X permission that he was trying to provide in here. So we have changed that. Okay. So that was how we can provide the global uh, the permissions, how we have decided to provide the global permissions. Okay. Then the next thing is we can change even the permissions. If you want to let's suppose you want to revoke the permission read and write. Now let's suppose there's a file one and I want to revoke the read and the write permission altogether. So I can write chmod. Okay, I can write chmod. Then I can write minus read permission, write permission. I want to revoke read and write permission from the file name. Let's suppose I'll write file, sorry, I'll write file one dot txt. So if you write that chmod minus rw revoke the read and write permission from .txt, so you'll have the written here. And if you do lsl again, you'll find for file one .txt we don't have any permission, so it is all blank because file one was already having only read write permissions, read, and I have revoked all the permissions, read and write permissions from here. Now you'll see the file one does not have any kind of permissions present in here. Okay, so we don't have any permissions present, so it is all blank permissions present. Done. So and of course we can reverse that command as well. So in that case, if you have revoked anything and you can provide you can provide any type of permissions. And let's suppose I want to change it to I want to add only read permission, so I'll write it plus read permission for file one. And if by doing so you'll be able to once execute, and you'll have only read as a permission that you have provided. Okay, then the next thing we can see is mm, mm, mm. Let's try to see. Okay, so let's try to change the individual permission. Okay, so let's suppose I don't want now I have read here. But in case I want to change a permission not for all the categories, for all the users, I want to change the permission only for one category of users. Okay, so how we can do this? Let's try to see that. So I'll write uh, I'll try to write, okay, I'm not sure if it would work, chmod, and we'll try to write any the user. I'll write the user and I'll provide equal to means let me move back to the file when you exactly wants to provide a permission to where it is. Okay, you equal to is a set explicitly and remove all other. So let's try to practice the explicitly. So I'll write chmod, yeah, u is equal to I want to write, and then let's try to write the file name file1 dot txt. So if I'll do that, okay, so then let's try to execute this and see if it works. Now I'll see for given user for file one earlier you used to have only read permission, but for the first category of user, so now I'll see my first category of user has a write permission, other category of users are still having the read permission in the file1 dot txt. Okay, now in the same way you can try doing ch and you can do instead of write, sorry, user equal to instead of using write we can write read, write, execute file one and see if this works. And If this is the case, I'll try to do ls again, and you'll see now file 1 for the main users, you'll see it has a read write permission, read write execute permission. And but for rest of the user, these three character represents the rest of user. It is still read, and for the next user it is still read. Okay, now similarly you can modify and alter the position for any given user. Let's suppose if it is not a user for the group, and I want to have instead of read, and I want to have write permission, I want to have read and write permission. Okay, and let's try to execute this. And if that is the case, you'll observe. So you'll have read write and execute. These this permission is present for the main user, and for the second category of user you have read and write permission but not execute permission. And for the third category you have a read write and only read permission, no write and no execute permission. Okay, by I hope you are able to understand. And for the third category we have tried to change. See, in the previous one for the main user we have tried to create a permissions, and then for the next one for the second group of users, for the group we have tried. And similarly we can try to write for the others as well. So you can try to write uh, for others. Okay, so I want to write, I want to revoke the read, I want to provide only write permissions for the others. And we if we execute this, and you'll observe that here read write execute, read write but not execute. And here the last one is third user is only able to execute the things. Neither he is able to read it, neither he is able to execute this, only write. But yes, practically it doesn't make any sense. You someone who is able to write it but is not able to read it, because you'll be able to write only after you have the read permission. So no logic for giving only write permission. At least you need to have a read and write collectively. So you could do that, but the only purpose was to explain you that how we can alter and change the permissions with this. And for the if you don't specify any given thing, so as I have told you, if you want to revoke the permissions altogether, so you can write the minus read write and you'll be able to execute. So I am going to write here. So let's try to write chmod minus read write execute, read write execute. And once you write this read write execute, and then you need to specify and read write execute, you'll see. And then file name, and whatever file name you want to work, you'll write here file name. Let's suppose I'll write file1 dot txt. Okay, once you write minus, and it is going to revoke all the read write and executable permissions. Now the one thing that you might have observed, I have not specified any type of user here. So I have not written for the group, I have not written for the other category, I have not written for the main user. I've just written minus rwx. So this will be applied across all the groups and all the users. Okay, when you don't specify anything. Okay, file one to see new permissions are right, not okay. So since we already they are trying to say that in the existing file, so since we don't have the already existing permission read write and execute, so we cannot revoke it. So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to saying that read, write and execute, all three permission should be taken away from file one. But it is saying that in file one, there are still users that are not even having this permission. So it is not possible to revoke those permission. Okay, so what a permission, by looking onto this, can you tell me what permission is there which is common for all that we can revoke? That is the write permission. So I can write here chmod, and I can write minus write, and then I can write file one dot txt. Now this would work. Okay, okay. File one txt new. permission are okay. Is it like we have modified this? Let's see the updated file. Okay, so this is the updated. Sorry, we had not refreshed its one. So it says that new permissions are this one. So we were not refreshed this. Now these are the updated permissions that we have the file. Okay, now we need to work according to this. So I'll write again. And we'll write minus file ls. So I'll try to write equals to. I'll write chmod, and for other users, which is equal to the write, read, and then file name file one.txt if it works. Yes, this does. Okay, so it has changed for other group. I want to change it instead of a write. I have changed it to read. Yes, it works. So these were the few of the things, and I had see the only thing is there are multiple permutation combination. You want to delete from the one, you want to add to the next, you want to add from the next, and you want to update the third, delete the first, second, third, and you can try the command I have told you. It is chmod. Once you can specify for individual permissions, use the term equal to for a group user, for a main user, or for the other category of user you can modify individual permissions. You can, if you don't specify the username, you can modify the permissions all across for all the user. Either you can delete it or you can add it. Here you'll see plus x is the permission that I have tried to perform on memo.txt. So you are able to perform this operation. You are able to perform this on all the what we call as the users. Or if you want to delete any given permission without specifying the user category, you can delete this permission as well. So these are the few of the file permissions that we have seen in our the class before. Okay, so is there anyone who is having any doubt? So that was the content that we were supposed to discuss in our today's class. Anyone any doubt till here? You can ask me the questions in case you have any doubts.
No, sir.
Excuse me, sir.
Are you guys here? Are you guys listening to this? Have you observed this, or am the only one who is
Yes,
executing?
sir.
Are you guys here? Please respond.
Hi,
No
sir. I have
answer.
one question. Hi, sir. Hi, sir.
Yes, Pratap, tell me.
Yeah, I have one question.
Okay.
Uh, like instead of doing instead of writing R, W, and X, can we write numbers? For example, 7, 4, 2, and all.
Okay. So you are trying. Okay. So you are referring to this like CHM753 memo.txt. You want to write this one?
Yeah, for example, G equal to 7, like that.
Mm-hmm. Just try to do
Mm.
it. Just try to do this one and tell me whether you are able to do this or not. Let's try to keep it as a your homework. Let's try to, so whatever I have explained 753 in terms of octal numbers, please practice this and tell me whether you are able to execute these numbers or not. So instead of me being telling you what should be done in this, please execute this.
Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Who is
It's
speaking?
Samandeep.
Yes, Samandip.
Sir, I want to share my screen and ask you to a few questions. Can I?
Yeah, of course. Let me stop my screen share. Let me
Yeah,
stop.
sure.
Yes, you can share the screen.
Sir, actually, here is the question. When I am writing ls and it's
Mhm.
showing just Linux commands, and in the files there are these all the files. But why these are not showing here in the terminal?
Move back, please. In the desktop, you have the Linux command.
Because the terminal should be open in the
Open.
file,
Yeah,
not in the desktop area.
in the file. So you are on the wrong path.
Here. Sir, I'm not getting the point what you have asked.
Okay. So give me a second.
There is a shortcut for
Can I
that.
help you, sir?
Yeah,
Can I help you, Amandeep?
yeah.
Yeah.
Just go to the file manager. Yeah.
Not. Yeah.
And then right click over the, yeah, and then open in terminal. Yes. And now you can run here. Yeah,
Oh, thank you.
yeah, no problem.
Mm, Okay. Anyone else who has a doubt? Anyone who joined late whose attendance is not marked? Done. Okay. Okay. So that's what we were required to discuss in the Tuesday class. Okay, let's try. Let me again share the screen and execute the last one that I've left it for you. Let me share the screen once again. So using the octal commands, we can still do it. So, okay. So I'll try to clear this. What's happening? Okay. So I'll try to do ls, and this is what I have. And let's suppose uh, for new copy.txt. So this is something new copy.txt, and these are the permission: read write but not execute, read write but not execute, read but no write and no execute. So in this we have seen that we can have the couple of different permissions: 421, 741. This can be 753 or any other combination of can be there. So the easiest one to understand is if I'll try to write 777 means read write and execute for the first user, read write execute for the second, and read write execute for the third as well. So I'll try to copy the same as well. So I'll do chmod, and then I'll try to write 777 and then followed by the file name for which you want to have. I want to have it for the new copy dot txt. Okay, once you do this, and you'll observe it has executed successfully. Now if you'll observe this, the new copy.txt has changed its color because now it has been moved to the executable. So you'll find read write execute, read write execute, read write execute, all three permissions have been granted successfully. Okay, similarly try to have any other possible combinations. That means if I take 753, let's suppose 753, 7 means read, write, execute for the first, 5 means 4 plus 1, read and execute for the second, and 3 means write and execute for the third. So let's try to modify the same. I'll write it uh, 753. So if you can write 753, and for that you can have this one, and let's try to modify that. Now you'll see the permissions have been modified successfully. Okay, so that's very easy. So that was not difficult at all. So in case you have any other doubt, you can ask me, or else this that was something that we were required to discuss in our today's class, and we have discussed couple of file permissions that can be apply to all user categories, that can be applied to single users. We can modify, generate different combination depending upon what read write operation we want, or you can use the even octal numbers as well in order to have the permission. So there are multiple ways. Okay, so that was something that we need to discuss. And if you don't have any doubt, so we are good to close the session. If you have any doubt, you can ask me, otherwise we can leave the session. Anyone, any doubt?
No,
So
sir.
any assignments?
So, sir,
Uh, yes, Prabhati, what you are trying to ask? Please come again.
Any assignments?
Assignment is this assignment, whatever we do in the lab, you need to practice this and upload it. That's the simple form of assignment. Please
Oh, okay,
practice
okay.
this. Practice the screenshot and then upload it. So that would be
Oh,
the for lab too. Yeah.
okay, done, sir.
So okay then. So this brings us, let me stop my screen share. This brings us to an end of our today's discussion. Okay. So thank you for joining and have a lovely weekend ahead. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye bye.
Bye, sir.